effects of all the trauma that she's going through. And I thought that's okay. Like they're kind of throwing in that at the end where she's maybe this will be her last time kind of jumping back. But then she kind of has to take that risk towards the end when her love interest, or whatever we want to call it, will when he gets murdered. And she has to reset the clock again so that he is still alive.
Yeah, I thought that was their clever way of putting stakes, you know, because if she was able to just do whatever she wanted and not have any repercussions from getting killed, it would kind of make the story kind of stale, you know?
Yeah.
And so by doing the built up scar tissue, and she slowly, that slow reveal lets us know that she is in danger, and she could very well, like, the time lapse could close out and she would really be dead and can't do anything. So it becomes like she really needs to figure out this murder case as soon as possible, and then it the film starts to pick up from there, you know, and it becomes like more of a roller coaster and very fast.
Yeah, I like the montage of her kind of when she's doing her Sherlock Holmes, you know, investigation of all of her suspects, and it's funny every time she's, you know, investigating. You know, tailing her, you know, her suspects that she has, she ends up getting killed anyways because, you know, the killer's been following her the whole time. I thought that was a hilarious thing to do as well.
Yeah, when she has the fucking Black Ops night vision and the camouflage paint
her face is all painted.
Yeah. And the highlights, and then the killer just automatically knows where she's at each time.
Yeah,
it's pretty funny.
Did you? I want to ask you guys both this. Were you able to pin who was the murderer from the beginning, or did it take some time, or were you surprised towards the end?
I think for me, it took me. I kind of figured it was the roommate, but then they kind of threw me off when they were like seeing that guy was killed the security guard and then he left the hospital. But
the serial killer?
The serial killer.
Yeah.
But then at the end it was like, oh, what? Yeah, I guess this makes sense. I was like, yeah.
Yeah. I agree with that a lot because I remember thinking towards the end, I'm like, oh, it has to be her because that's the only person she really hasn't like investigated, you know, or tried to find out if that, you know, stalked her basically, and I think they did that intentionally to kind of make you think it was her and then throw you off the tracks, you know, with towards that end where they introduced the serial killer. And then you're like, oh, it's the serial killer. It wasn't her. Okay, never mind then. It's the serial killer who's doing it. That makes more sense. And then, you know, come to find out they survived, that she kills him. Her boyfriend's fine now. And then she eats the cupcake at the end of the night, and then she goes to sleep, and it's like, okay, the movie's over. Like, you know, it's going to roll credits now or something. And then she wakes up again in the dorm room. And it's like, and you hear the ringtone and the bell tower, and you're like, oh my god, what the hell happened? Like, what did she do? Like, we didn't get to see what happened. How'd she die? Yeah. And then, and that's when she goes to the dorm, or back to her sorority, and you find out that, you know, she kind of puts it together for you if you haven't already. And she's like, oh, like, it's the cupcake, it's poison. That's the thing I ate right before I went to sleep. And I thought that was a really cool twist that I didn't expect her to. I mean, for a little bit, you're kind of like, oh, she's a real bitch to her. Like, it would make sense for her to be the killer. But then I was like, there's so many more other people who have a greater motive to do that. Especially, I really did think it was the doctor in the hospital. at one point when he was kind of when the lights went out and then he was just there next to the boyfriend, like visiting hours are over.
But see, I feel like them doing that, it's too on the nose.
Yeah, it's too convenient for.
Where they want you to be misled with that, like they're putting that there as he's a red herring, I think it's what they call it, right?
Yeah.
Where to throw you off and be like, yeah, it's totally the fucking guy that she's having an affair with. Of course it would be, but it's like that's too right there, in my opinion. But yeah, the numerous subplots in this were really good too, and I love how you kind of take the ride with her where she kind of grows as a person, because when you meet her she's like an asshole, and even after she dies and she comes back and is trying to figure out what's going on, she's like shitty to everybody around her, and doesn't have any like empathy whatsoever. And slowly as stuff starts to unravel, I really liked how she becomes more compassionate, and like she has like the romantic thing going on, and it's like in an unconventional way, it's like making her, this like unfortunate event is like making her grow as a person and like come to terms with her shittiness, in a way.
Yeah. Good. That was a really cool way to kind of see that character development.
Yeah.
Throughout the film, like you said, she's going through all these things, and it's kind of making her realize her mishaps and what she's doing wrong to people,
like
rather than being so selfish.
Exactly. Like, especially like when she reevaluates, she goes and apologizes to her father, and then they break down together or whatever. Like, it was pretty crazy.
Oh yeah.
Good. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
Have you seen the second one?
No, I still need to finish it. I know it was streaming on Stars for a while, and I'm always guilty of putting stuff on like too late at night, and then I fall asleep. And I have to go.
I do that too.
Yeah, I have to go back and find my spot and stuff. So that's one I need to finish. But what I saw was really good, and I love the kind of way that they pick up, where the first one left off.
Oh yeah, definitely. If you guys haven't, I know Diego for sure hasn't seen it because he's just watched this one for the first time. But listeners, if you guys haven't seen the second one, I definitely recommend checking that one out as well, because that is definitely it's a good continuation of the story. And I know the third one's kind of in limbo. Not sure if it's kind of like 75% sure it's going to get made, but I know Jason Blum is pretty excited for this franchise.
I think Landon, the director of both of these, I believe, has said that the third one is ready to go, but they don't know how long it's going to take to actually put it into production, but that they want to, and that Jessica is really excited that she wants to come back for the third one. So I'm not sure if it was an issue with like the second one didn't do as well. Those numbers are I would assume would be scary to try to top, because that's insane, dude, how much this made.
Yeah.
Like on such a small budget, it's a wonder that they would be like, yeah, fuck yeah, let's try to make a sequel and reproduce this magic. Like, I would have been so scared if I was Blumhouse, to be honest.
Oh yeah, dude, for sure. That's a scary thing to try to top a successful movie that I'm pretty sure they had faith in this one, but maybe they weren't thinking it was going to be as successful and have that much of a profit.
What I love about this is that it's a standalone franchise that, although, like I said, it is inspired by other stuff, it is an original idea, and it's not like, of course, Halloween is going to pull in the numbers and these franchises that have been rebooted, but this one is a standalone, like, original piece, and people actually paid attention and went to go see it, and that's really cool, It doesn't happen too often, specifically in horror. It's like takes a lot. You have to be like It or something that's like very mainstream horror for people to go and pay attention. So the fact that this did so well is very bizarre to me, but I'm not mad at it.
Yeah, this was definitely a fun watch for me. Rewatching it again it's still always fun. It definitely has rewatch value. Things you missed, things you might not have totally understood the first time around.
Definitely.
So I mean, Diego, if you have the time, I definitely recommend you to rewatch it again. Not necessarily right now, of course, but watch it right now on the show.
Watch it during the show.
Yeah, I want to hear it playing in the background. No, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
In a month or something, definitely check it out, or watch it with a friend that hasn't seen it also. So it'll be something cool to do.
Or check out the second one.
Yeah, actually, I want to.
The second one too.
Now I kind of want to check out the second one.
The second one definitely plays a lot more on the time travel. I mean, this first one is, of course, it's a time travel movie, but they kind of go more into like the science of it and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool how they kind of break that down and explain to you why things are happening the way they are. But yeah, staying on subject with the first one, what was your guys's? If you had to pick a favorite moment or maybe a favorite murder, I guess, of this one, what would that be?
I'll go first real quick. I love it's towards the beginning of the film when she I forget the name of the dude, but somebody who she assumed was the killer, she punches him in the face, right? And then it turns out to be a guy that she was seeing, or he's trying to see her, and he's like, yo, let's go. Basically signals her to go upstairs. Her friend gets mad at her because that's like the guy that she likes, but because the way that Tree is, who she's like kind of open about her sexuality and like okay with like hooking up with different people, she goes upstairs out of curiosity, and then this guy's still fucking with Tree in the baby mask and stuff, and then he shows up and they're in the room, the door's locked or whatever, and then he takes off the mask and it's still the same guy, and he's like, welcome to the pleasure dome or whatever. And then he turns this obnoxious like techno on with the neon lights, and he's just dancing like a dummy for a really long time while she's on the phone. She's texting her friend. I think her friend's name is Danielle in the film, and she's like, are you with the guy right now? Like, can't believe you, you're such a bitch or whatever. And she's like, no, I'm not with him, like I would never do that to you.
And she's right next to him.
Yeah, and then you see the closet open behind the dude while he's dancing. He's not paying attention, and it's the real babyface killer. And he fucking stabs the dude to death. And I really loved how that was shot, because you can tell that Tree's very invested in the text message, and she doesn't even realize what's going on until the dude's already murdered, laying on the other side of the bed, and she thinks that it's the same guy, but he put the mask back on, and she's like, yo, are you trying to get like punched in the face again? Like, I'm really tired of the shenanigans now. And then she realizes that it's the real killer. And she proceeds to get murdered with a, was it like 7-foot bong?
Yeah.
like a piece they broke it in half.
Yeah.
Gnarly.
That was a pretty cool death.
Yeah, gnarly kill. Because when she gets in the room, it's funny, she like kind of foreshadows that death. She picks up the bong and she's like, wow.
Yeah.
And puts it down. And then later, a few minutes later, she gets murdered with that very same object. So the details in here are very nice. But Diego, what was your favorite scene?
I would say the baseball bat.
Oh yeah,
the baseball bat scene was a really good one.
In the transition.
In the transition. The transition in that it was so good, and I was just like blown away by it, because like you rarely see those transitions where a subject is moving and then you move to another scene. So it was really nice to see these guys do that, and it's always funny to see the wrong person get hit, and then you're like, oh shit, like he's right behind you. Like the classic horror thing, like he's right behind you. He's right behind you.